Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now today we are back on our Nissan Serena door motor. So if you watched the previous video, this is the motor actuator unit that we took out of the door. And this is the bit that is supposed to be moved by the motor. And what we're going to do now is show you what you do to repair it. So first of all, we just need to remove some Phillips screws. So the first three screws there just removes the bracket, and then you've just got this piece left. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws to remove from this piece. Okay, so that's the screws out. Now we just have to separate the two halves. Just go very carefully, just lift that top piece off. Just move that gear, put it back over that side for the moment. So you've got one half there, with the gear sat on a spindle there. And you've got these bits, and here is the motor that we're going to be replacing. And here is the new one. So as you can see, the part number on there, so it's PAN 14EE12AA1. So it's a 12 volt motor. The contact points are in here. There is no soldering or wiring required. It actually sits on two connectors that slide up into these holes here, and it is a D-cut shaft, so the shaft has got a piece that's a flat edge on it there. You just want to gently pry it up. There's some little pieces in the end there you can just use to pry against on either side. And careful you don't pull anything apart in the unit. Don't pull all this lot apart because there's a spring on there, so be very careful with this piece where you end up moving that. And that's the old motor out. You can see that one is the same part number. It's just on the new one there's a 1 at the end. So you want to slide this piece off, get your new motor, and then just slide that on. It will only fit one way when it hits that D point, because obviously there's a flat edge on the inside of that. I don't know if you can see that. You just want to slide that back on there, and you can see inside here there's the 2 pins for the connector, and they just actually go into the back of the motor and make the connection. So all you need to do is just slide that back into position, slot it down, push it down firmly home, and that's it. That's the motor installed with its gear and everything. It's all ready to go. So with our new motor now installed, also before you put the motor in, you want to make sure that this gear is turned round to the point where this spring is making contact with that little peg there. So that spring that comes round is attached to that, because that's a little return spring that spins it back on itself when it after it's actuated. That's the return spring to push it back. So you want to make sure that is against that peg just there. You want to check your gear is all in good condition. So just sit your gear in there, get the other half back in position. Slide that pin down in place. Put the two halves back together. And then you just got to put your screws back in. Almost down the end. So that's that. Now we've just got to put the bracket back on. And this only lines up and fits one way. You can see the holes. One there, one there, one there. So it only goes one way. And there we go. There is your completed, reassembled door actuator with a new motor in it. Now all we need to do is go and fit it back to the car. Okay everyone, it is the next day. We are back in the Serena and I've mounted the motor actuator unit. So we've put these screws back in, so we've got that one, this one down here and this one up here. So they're all mounted in position. Then you've got your plug, which you just want to push and slide back in there. And the cable, as you can see, you've got this little piece here, and that literally just slides and clips in into there. So it's just held in there snugly. And then this is the bit I was explaining in the previous video. So you've just got this cable just slides in there. It just goes in and out, but you turn this piece around and click it up. So once that's clicked in, that holds it nice and tight there. Okay, so at this point you want to reconnect your battery, as long as you've actually disconnected it in the first place. It is a good idea to disconnect your battery so the door doesn't open and shut while you're working on it. Or you can make sure you've turned the switch off in the front of the car. I'll show you that in a minute. Now when you go to test the door and try it and see if it's working, if you just get a little click and you don't get the beeps, if it just seems to be clicking from somewhere down in the lower portion of the door, it'll be this module here. Now all you want to do, if you have got that doing that, you can either disconnect the car battery, or you can unplug this plug here. There's a little tab on the back side of it. Push the tab in and then just pull it down and unplug it, and then leave that unplugged for a couple of seconds. Plug it back in and it will reinitialize and reset it. But it is easier, to be honest, just to disconnect the battery. Now we'll just go to the front of the car. So on your bank of switches you've got your auto door switch. So you want to make sure you turn that on. And then you can try your door with your key. And there we go. It is working again. Now you can see what that motor does when you actually initialise the door action. That's the first thing that moves. And there we go. So that's how you fix your auto door on a Serena C25. All we need to do is put the door card back on. We're not going to do that yet, because the next video we're going to show you how to upgrade the speakers in these back doors. So watch out for the next video. Thank you for watching everyone. Please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.